Oh, joining us now, a member of the House Homeland Security, Financial Services, and Intelligence Committees, Congressman Peter King of New York. Congressman, happy Easter. Great to see you, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Great to see you, and I'm still celebrating Notre Dame's victory last night. And tell Jason, I'm still trying to see where BYU is in all this.
Oh, Peter.
He's on Michigan, but tonight he's looking at Michigan. Oh, that's a fighting word.
It's this beautiful Monday morning, and you're going there? Oh, my goodness. All right. All right. I get to ask a question.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Okay. What do you think about these tariffs, Congressman?
Basically, I don't believe in a trade war and tariffs and protectionism. I do believe, though, when it comes to China, that it was important for the president to take action. To me, this goes beyond the economy. I think this also involves North Korea. This also involves the fact that China has not been as supportive as the president thought he would be as far as our dealings with North Korea. And also, it's a shot against China's expansion in the South Pacific, the artificial islands, the expansion of the Navy, etc. So I think it's, again, I can't foresee all the consequences, but I understand why the president did it. I think his other tariff increases really, I'm opposed to, but when it comes to China, I think the president has a legitimate point to make.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the retaliation of $3 billion is not commensurate with what the U.S. is doing. We're waiting on a list from the Treasury in terms of exactly the products from China that will be taxed. But it almost feels like China had to do something, but it's really not that big of a tariff at $3 billion.
You know, it's probably still too early to. It's probably still too early to tell, but I think it could be a sign that the president's policies in Asia, one, I believe in getting North Korea to the table, the way we are, the fact that South Korea is going to be involved, and now the fact that China is not over-retaliating against us, to me is a good sign. But again, it's early in the game, and but so far I think the president deserves credit for what's happening in Asia.
Jason.
Yeah, Jason Chaffetz here again. The president this morning is tweeting about DACA, saying DACA is dead. I think there's frustration that there isn't money allocated in the budget, in the appropriations bill, to build the wall, and didn't deal with sanctuary cities. How does Congress, how do they justify what's going on here?
Congressman, did you sign the bill?
I did, and I voted for it, and I would vote for it again. Let me tell you on this. There's I really support the president, but the president was involved in this deal from beginning to end. I spoke to the president that week. He wanted us to go along with it. His people were in the room. Everything that was negotiated with the White House's approval. The president felt, and the administration felt, and the Congress felt it was important to get the funding for the military. To me, it was very important to get the funding restored for Homeland Security, which Mick Mulvaney had knocked out. That was vitally essential. Also, from a New York, New Jersey perspective, the Gateway Tunnel is absolutely essential, not just for New York and New Jersey, but the entire northeastern seaboard. I think, again, I would support, obviously, restrictions of sanctuary cities. I also certainly believe the wall should be built. It was my bill back in 2006, that passed originally, that had the wall in there. But again, to fund the military, to do what had to be done, and now I think in many ways you can say, the deck is cleared. We can deal directly with DACA and the wall without having to worry about a government shutdown between now and October.
Well, here's what he said yesterday. Listen to this. Here's the president on that issue.
Mexico has got to help us at the border. If they're not going to help us at the border, it's a very sad thing between two countries. Mexico has got to help us at the border. And a lot of people are coming in because they want to take advantage of DACA. And we're going to have to really see. They had a great chance. The Democrats blew it.
So, Congressman, I have a question for you, because I've seen that the polling after the bill has been signed, independents actually support this. They want Congress to get things done. They want the president to sign things and move things forward. So now what's the plan? You're saying that now the deck's cleared, you can get DACA, and negotiations done. Who's going to take the lead on this, and what can we expect?
I think the president has to take the lead. I think he has to get in with Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, and Chuck Schumer and do everything possible to get it done. The wall is essential, and not just as far as the immigration issue, but as far as the transnational narco gangs. I mean, this is it's not just people from Central and South America coming across the border. You have people from all over the world who are using this as an entryway to the U.S. as far as opioids, for instance, the opioid crisis. So I think we have to, again, make it clear, make this the issue, make this an issue between now and Election Day, and that's one way to get it done. I support the wall. I do believe that we have to make adjustments on DACA. I think the president's proposal several months ago was really extremely generous and equitable. But again, there's no reason why this deal can't be done. Put Chuck Schumer and Donald Trump in the same room, and they have to make this deal.
No, right now, Chuck Schumer's a happy man in terms of what this deal looks like for his side. Congressman, I know combating MS-13 on Long Island has been a big issue for you. What's the status check?
Actually, tremendous results on that. Listen, the war is far from over, but there's been hundreds and hundreds of arrests. The president has sent in more assistant U.S. attorneys. There's been a large grant to the Suffolk County Police Department, which has done a phenomenal job on this. There's more ICE agents. Yeah. There are more raids being carried out, and we're getting more cooperation from the community. Ever since the Attorney General and the president actually came in, literally to the belly of the beast, the Central ICE up in Brentwood last summer, there's been extraordinary progress made, but this has to, again, a fight that has to be continued. These are brutal, vicious murderers. Like within blocks of my house, they're digging for bodies. Wow. These are people who've been dismembered and cut to pieces by MS-13. They're horrible, evil human beings.
That is horrible. Speaking of the AG, what did you think about Jeff Sessions saying he's naming a prosecutor to investigate the allegations of wrongdoing at the top of the FBI and the Justice Department, not a second special counsel?
Yeah, I support a special counsel, but I do think this is a significant step in the right direction. I would have gone all the way to a special counsel, but having said that, I think Horowitz, as Inspector General, does an excellent job. Uber, who I don't know, I assume Jason does from Utah, I think he's going to, from all I hear, he's totally honest, he's totally nonpartisan, and probably this is the most precise way to get it done, in that you have an Inspector General, you have an outside attorney, somebody from outside of Washington, looking into all the facts and details and then determining whether or not a special counsel is warranted. I would have gone right for the special counsel, but I think this is going in the right direction. I wouldn't write it off at all. And I think justice will be done here. If any case, though, did require a special counsel, it's this one. Not the one where Bob Mueller was appointed, because in the Mueller situation, there was absolutely no evidence at all that a crime was ever committed by President Trump or his campaign, and yet a special counsel was appointed. In this case, there's significant evidence that there has been criminality, and that's why I think a special counsel is warranted. But again, this is a good first step.
And Huber, you like Huber from Utah?
Yeah, John Huber. He's a good man. Peter King is absolutely right. He's one of the best members of Congress, as far as I'm concerned, Peter is, and he's spot on and exactly right in this investigation.
27 people produced 3,000 documents over a year. Now, what is he raising it to? 54 people. Are they going to produce 6,000? I mean,
they have 110,000 people at their disposal, so
make it a priority, FBI. That's the bottom line. Congressman, good to see you, sir. Thank you.